What's up, MontyVersers? Welcome back. I know this isn't our usual type of video. Usually we're doing reactions, breakdown, news, lore, shorts, but the cool people at Movie Palette actually reached out to us and they gave us one of their items to unbox and review for you guys, which is actually pretty funny because I've actually been a pretty big fan of their products for a very long time, and I've seen their ads, in a bunch of different places, and I was scrolling through their catalog trying to figure out which one I wanted. But before we really get more into that, Nikki, why don't you tell us a little bit more about Movie Palette and what exactly the products that they have are?
No, definitely. So movie palettes in general, they're these colorful paintings that basically what they do is they take a film and they take the dominant color from each scene and they put all of those stripes together to make each of the movie palettes, which are these really cool sequential paintings that kind of show each of the scenes. And they're really cool and they have such a unique aesthetic to them. Yeah,
absolutely, definitely. And me and you, not only are we huge nerds and geeks and fans of like all of these different nerd things, we're pretty big cinephiles.
No, definitely. I'm with you because I saw the ads for them a lot as well, and I was always really curious about them because they make you look at the films in kind of a really unique way in terms of like how the color, like it can vary throughout the film, or maybe it's consistent. It's different than anything I've ever seen before.
Yeah, and before we get more detailed about Movie Palette and their site and their company, let's actually take a look at the palette itself, the one that we picked. We haven't opened it yet. Really, all we did was pre-open the box just so that would be easier for us to take out in the video. But this is basically it right here. This is the box. What we did is we wanted to pick something that, a movie that really had a lot of emotional weight, one that we both liked, one that had a special place in both of our hearts. Not only that, but something that also matched with where we were going to hang it.
Yeah, and also, just real quick, there were so many great ones. Like, we had to spend a decent amount of time thinking of which one we wanted.
Yeah, there are so many. They have such a huge catalog already on their site. They have the majority of the IMDb top 250 films.
Yeah.
So if you're a huge cinephile and you like any of those really high-ranked films, they have them already up there. They have a ton of nerdy films. They have all the Star Wars movies, a lot of the MCU films.
Yeah.
They even have Power Rangers 2017, which is one that we were really considering getting.
And that's, again, what's the greatest thing about it is that it's so, like, it has a diverse array of options because they have animated films, they have classic films, they even have, like, some TV show episodes, I think.
And if they don't have what you're looking for, they even have the option for you to create your own movie palette. So say if you have a really niche film, say if your favorite film is Josie and the Pussycats, you could just ask them to create a movie palette of that, and they will do it for you on the website, which I think is a really cool feature.
No, definitely. But I'm excited to see what the one we have looks like.
Yes, and before we open this up and review it, if you guys see this and you do like this movie palette and you're interested in getting one for yourself, they did give us a code to refer to you guys. So you can go to moviepalette.com and enter the discount code MontyVerse15 for 15% off your order. That again, it is MontyVerse 15. But for right now, let's look at the one that we got. And Nikki, would you want to reveal which movie we decided to pick?
Absolutely. So as you said, it's one that had a lot of emotional weight to it, one that we love, that kind of goes with our brand and has kind of just the general aesthetic of this room. So we chose none other than not just both our favorite MCU film, but one of our favorite films of all time, Avengers Endgame.
Yes, and this is the palette. You know what? Let me take, the plastic is still on because what's great about this packaging is they pack it in this really tight plastic covering to avoid like any rips or tears like that. So let me open this really quick.
Right.
But Nikki, why don't you talk more about Avengers Endgame and why we felt like it was a good choice, especially in terms of like style and how it looks.
No, definitely. So like we said, obviously it fits with our brand pretty closely. Definitely the nerdiness aspect to it, the Marvel for sure, since we're both really big fans of the MCU. But this was like when we first met, something we both clicked on immediately is our love for this film specifically, where I know for a fact that, I don't know exactly how many times you went to see it, I saw it in theaters multiple times, and it was just such...
This is the film I saw the most in theaters.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, and it probably is mine at this point, but we just both had such a tight emotional connection to this. And not to say that the other MCU films in Infinity War aren't all great, but this one was just an absolute home run. Like, the emotionality, but also I really love the story. I love the character development we get with so many different characters in this.
Yeah.
And especially with the newer MCU films that come out, this like really tied a lot of it together.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's really the culmination of an 11-year journey for me. I'm a huge comic book nerd. The MCU really changed my life in a lot of ways, and this is the culmination of that chapter of my life, the beginning of a new part of my life. It's the last movie I saw in theaters with my mom. It's a movie that we rewatched countless number of times together, and she would always make fun of me for rewatching scenes from this movie on YouTube on repeat. So yeah, it holds a lot of emotional weight for me as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and who doesn't love America's ass?
Who doesn't love America's ass? And this movie also has my favorite shot in the MCU, even to this day. So yeah, a lot of meaning behind it. And this is the palette, guys. Really, really lovely. Let me back out a little bit so we can get this. As you can see, it's pretty long.
Yes.
Like it's pretty decent and huge in size.
Yeah. And that's something I was actually wondering about, because the movie's 3 hours. And like I said, they have such a variety of movies. Like, they have a lot of Disney films, which are like 90 minutes or less. So I was curious how that was going to work with such a long movie. But I feel like a lot of the scenes are instantly recognizable. So like for me, like the first thing that pops out is, okay, the beginning is like tannish and light, because that's Clint with his family.
Yeah, that's the beginning on the farm. And then of course you have, like the funeral scenes at the end. So there's definitely very easy to depict scenes in this.
Yeah.
I mean, all the stuff on Morag, obviously, and Vormir, the purplish hues, just, it's really cool. I really like the color, the use of color. The colors really pop, and another reason why we pick this because it goes really well with our wall. When we convert this into our studio, which we're planning on doing, we're going to feature this prominently on the wall. I'm hoping to get the other Avenger films as well. I'm going to get, the goal is to have all 4 of them and kind of hang them up together. But I'm really happy with how this turned out. The texture's really wonderful.
Yeah.
It's on this, if you're wondering about quality, it's on canvas. It's actually on wood canvas, and it's on a wood frame, and it's made on canvas, so it feels
like an actual painting.
Yeah, it feels really great. The quality feels, again, top notch.
Yeah.
There's even like protection on the back, so it doesn't slam against the wall. They have these really cool plastic feet on them, or for lack of a better term, stops on them. So they have the point to hang it on the wall, and then these kind of stop it, so the corner, so one, it hangs perfectly straight without, like at an angle, and 2, it doesn't scrape, the corners don't scrape against your wall. So 1, it doesn't damage the corners of the painting, and 2, it doesn't, scratch your wall, which I really like. That's a really nice touch.
I kind of like this touch where I would hopefully assumed correctly on when it began, but I also like this little detail of having the title in the corner.
Yeah, there will be some B-roll footage to show you guys an up-close view of it, but they do have the name of the movie in the bottom corner here to kind of let you know what's up and what's down, what's forward and what's back. But yeah, it's really, really, I'm really impressed with how this came out. I love the color, and it's really interesting, especially if you study like film, like color theory in movies and television. This is really cool to kind of look at, like the way that really the hues that movies have in terms of their colors.
Right, and that's what was so fascinating about even just looking at them online, because like certain movies, the second you see the palette and how it looks, it's like, oh, well, that makes sense tonally. Like a lot of Disney animated films were very bright and colorful, and then there were some films like maybe more on the sci-fi horror end that were maybe darker in tone.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an animated film lover, there are a lot of really cool ones. We were actually like really torn between getting Endgame or Spider-Verse, just because we loved how vividly colored the Spider-Verse one was, just because it's such a unique film visually.
Yeah.
The movie palette definitely represents that visually, so we really liked that.
Oh yeah, and like another one I really enjoyed personally was Coco, which is not necessarily my favorite Pixar film, but it was so vibrant and beautiful, and it perfectly encapsulates how that movie is animated. And if you want like even if it's not your favorite film, if a film is vibrant and you like the aesthetic of it, this is a great piece to have.
I feel like one of those sign twirlers. No, but these are really cool. Another thing that I really like about these and why I really wanted one, especially for a studio or an office, is because it's a great talking point.
Oh yeah.
They used to, I don't know if they still advertise like this, but they used to call it like a secret that you choose to reveal or not. Because really looking at this, no one knows what it is. So it's when we say conversation point, people will ask you like, hey, what's that about? Or that's really cool. Like what made you get that painting? Or what is this a painting of? And you have the option of whether or not to like expand, or it'll allow you to begin conversations about movies and the movies that you love. So,
yeah,
that's what's really cool about it. If you're a cinephile, it will get you to talk about things that you like. And if you're struggling to find common ground with someone, who knows? Maybe this will be really cool to start a conversation that way.
It's also just pretty cool looking in general, because like, if nothing else, people will think like, that's a cool modern art piece.
Absolutely, because especially if you are a cinephile or you are a geek or a nerd like me, and you work somewhere professional, or you have an office somewhere professional, and you can't bring a Captain America shield or Mjolnir to your office or place of business, maybe you can buy a smaller one of these, because they do have varying sizes. They're not all this big. You can kind of pick your own size. You get a smaller one and hang it in your office, and that'll be your little secret. Like, oh, that's me knowing that I have like Avengers Endgame right there. So that's why I really like these. They're subtle, but also at the same time, there's a lot of meaning behind them. And for me, always the best, like, as you guys see, I'm a collector. I collect things that have meaning to me, or that are important to me. And when I see it, it brings back memories. And this is something that does that. And I think that's really, really cool. Not only that, it's high quality.
Yeah.
Which I like. This is, honestly, if this came and it wasn't what I was expecting it to be, I'd let you guys know, because I'm a straight shooter. I don't really...
Right. Because that's what's kind of deceptive about it. Because when you say it out loud, when we say stripes, colors, movies, that almost sounds like it should be something that's like overly simplistic, and that someone, if they really want to, it doesn't, like, you would be surprised, like wondering like, oh, like this looks like it's gorgeous for like what it look for how it is, and it's like even more impressive like when you see it in person. Yeah, what's another cool thing about the people at Movie Palette, they gave us the freedom to talk, to basically say how we felt. I'm not in the business of taking brand deals where I'm not allowed to speak my mind. Right. And they said, hey, if you don't like it, make sure you get on camera and you give us an honest review, because we want to improve our product and we want to deliver the best product possible. So if there's something you don't like about it, you'll say it. You could give us a 100% honest review. And that's why we kind of agreed to do this, because we had no stipulations. Right. There was no, hey, we're gonna send you one, but you have to say this, this, and this. Right. Basically, we're whatever we're telling you are our actual thoughts. Right. And what we can honestly say is like the amount of detail that again is put into this, to where, like I said, you say stripes, like I don't even want to like start counting how many there are. The amount of detail in just taking the individual scenes. Like I don't even want to like think of how many unique colors that is alone. Yeah. And it's cool, and it's gonna be cool to look through this and be like, hey, that's Cap lifting Mjolnir. Right. Or that's Tony Stark's I Am Iron Man. Or, Thor talking to his mother. And that's going to be cool, to go back and to kind of piece out where every scene is. You can definitely tell by the colors. Yeah. I think Endgame is such a uniquely colored film, and the scenes are all... They go so many colored places. Differently. Yeah. So I could definitely tell a lot of that just by looking at it, and that's what's so cool about these things. But things like, again, if you want one and you're a fan of Spider-Man, I can't recommend the Spider-Verse one enough. That one's really, really cool too. So definitely check that out if you're interested. And hey, use our code, get yourself a nice 15% discount, because another thing that's great about these, they're not gonna cost you an arm and a leg. No. They always have deals on the website. I think they have a deal currently. They have a sale going on right now. Yeah. So you can get yourself one for pretty cheap.
right now. But yeah, I think we're very, very happy with this. Definitely everything I expected it to be. No surprises in the best way possible.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I was a little worried that maybe, because again, when you're dealing with a company that you never dealt with before and you don't really know what they're gonna send you.
Right.
There's always the risk of it coming and it's like photocopied or like ironed on.
Right. Or again, it's like they're just putting stripes on a canvas. Like, but the details are so clean on this. Like that can't be overstated. Like these lines are so perfectly straight and they transition so well. Yeah. No, I'm very impressed. I like the hanging apparatuses. Everything it's stapled on very well. Like it's ready to go. It's just a matter of this point of figuring out the best place to put it and how. And yeah, everything is set up for you. All you have to do is hang it and level it, and you're good to go. But yeah, I'm happy. I think we're both pretty happy with this. And yeah, guys, I think that this is something that I definitely recommend. I recommend that if you're interested in one or you're a fan of movies or art, this is definitely something that you guys should check out. Right. And again, it's moviepalette.com. And our discount code is MontyVerse15. Nikki, is there anything else you want to add about Movie Palette? I think this is just pretty damn awesome in general. Pretty dang cool. And honestly, we would, like you said, you're talking about getting the rest of the Avengers. I might have to get that Coco one and some of those other Pixar ones. I mean, you know, good to hang in an office, good to hang in your office. In the background of your Zoom meetings, this is also good for that. So who knows, but that's going to be it for us, guys. Definitely recommend Movie Palette. And until next time, stay versed.